Hello, and welcome to Pod of the Week, a place where I get to share my thoughts on pods I think you need to know about. Continuing with being an amazing resource to you in this festive season to navigate gift giving, positioning yourself, and preparing yourself for the festive season. I want to invite you to listen to a podcast story which really impacted me and inspired my thinking around the festive season and the traditions that we as a family need to curate and the importance of it. And this podcast is called Stories of Hope in Hard Times, with a specific episode of how do you share the gift of tradition. So this is a fascinating episode. It covers a moment in Jo Ann's life when she was 5 years old and how a Swedish grandma gave her the perfect gift of a tradition and how that impacted her life. And I mean, that's just a short summation of the episode, and I think you should go listen to it yourself. But it inspired my thinking of maybe if you can't give a gift, give a tradition. So what we do as a family, every year we paint a board, a canvas, and maybe there's something you can do as a family, as a community that will mark a coming of a new year, a turning of a new year as a family over the festive seasons. If you want to know what it sounds like, have a listen.
Welcome to Stories of Hope in Hard Times, the show that explores how people endure and even thrive in difficult times, all with God's help. I'm your host, Tamara K. Anderson. Join me on a journey to find inspiring stories of hope and wisdom learned in life's hardest moments.
So, Jo Ann, tell me why this Christmas when you were 5 years old was so burned into your memory.
I think one of the reasons, when you're 5 years old, you really, you have a family, you're safe, you're going to have dinner, you have a bed to sleep in, but you don't think of the other things that are important, that are being taught to you over the years. And this Christmas actually was a Christmas gift that my grandmother had asked for herself to give to me. And it started when my grandfather brought a 9-foot Christmas tree into our home that had an 8-foot ceiling.
Oh my.
If you can imagine this absolutely huge tree. Well, what happened when Grandpa and the tree literally fell into the living room, this is when they were still trying to get in the front door. A sparrow was on our front porch, had been there all summer, and got caught up in the tree somehow and ended up in the house. So Grandma was afraid of birds, and she was running around with her apron over her head, slapping at air, hoping to keep the bird away. And she ran into the kitchen. My mother was trying to help my grandfather capture this bird. And this poor little sparrow was bumping into walls and leaving little puffballs of dust on these pale yellow walls. Well, they finally found him, and Grandpa just very gently held him, and he sat there for a minute and then just flew away. But when the tree was set up, we could still see these puffballs from the sparrow. And it was very European looking because it was these branches that had the little tiny needles on it. They were the tiny skinny ones, and there was about maybe 6 or 7 inches between branches. So there was a lot of space in between.
Or an aunt or an uncle and what they shared. I know one of our family traditions share those perhaps Christmas memories from when they were younger. And I also loved the idea of passing down ornaments. How neat it is that you have one of your grandma's ornaments. I mean, that is a treasure. It really is. And then another one that I love is this idea of passing down traditions. Because every family is going to have different traditions, and maybe you don't have a family who has traditions, but you can start your own, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think with the tradition, it's a repetition of something that has brought you love or a feeling of fulfillment in your life. And those are the things you want to hang on to because they are going to make a difference in your life as you continue.
So if you're looking for a heartwarming story that will hopefully inspire you to think differently about the festive season, then this is the podcast for you. So remember, podcast not beside. Stay fair.